Hi, Viv going live from York. I wasn't going to go live because I'm not feeling particularly well, so I am actually in bed. I'm wearing a very nice onesie, but I thought I'll just do the quick thing I was going to do anyway, because I'm in bed with some of the books that I'm reading. So I am dyslexic, but dyslexia, like a lot of sort of atypical brain things, is actually I believe it's a spectrum disorder. Um, and I've got a basic short-term memory issue, which hasn't massively impacted me. It's a very mild form of dyslexia, but does mean that I struggle when reading. So I thought I'd give some tips for sort of short-term memory issues similar to the ones I've got. Hi Emma, give us a wave. So at the moment, well, this is one of the things I do. Hi Sarah. This is one of the things I do because of my dyslexia. I don't know, this might not have anything to do with my dyslexia actually, but I always have about 3 or 4 books on the go. So I am reading these 3 and another one that's just down here, but it's a bit, so I'm reading one on conscious breathing as well. Because what I find is if I'm struggling with remembering from one book, that I flip to the next one. And so it keeps my mind fresh. So that's something that really works for me, and I don't know if other people do that or not. It'd be good to know if other people do that. So say I'm in the middle of reading The Inside Track. This is an absolutely amazing book. And I'm just thinking, right, I'm not holding some of this information. It's really beginning to frustrate me, but I'm enjoying reading because I do really like reading. Then I'd probably flip to something that's maybe a bit more factual. So that one's a sort of more of a biography about this guy who was put in prison. It's a motivational book, but really worth reading. So I might flip to something a bit more factual. So I'm also reading, this is by the guy who wrote the Chimp Paradox, but it's specifically for sort of teachers, parents, to help with their kids. So I'd probably flip to something like that. And see if that just changes the way my brain's working and retaining information. Another thing I do, which I think some people might be really upset about, especially if you're a big book lover, so just a warning, you might get upset about this, but I do actually highlight my books. Because if I don't, and I've read a page and I have to reread it because I haven't remembered what I've said, if I've highlighted bits, then obviously that's going to make it a lot easier for me to retain. What I also find is I am rather over the top when it comes to highlighting sometimes. So I do actually, when I reread a page, if I go back and I'm rereading it and something's really, really pertinent, I will then underline. I'm sorry, I highlight and I underline. So I've got a lovely set of highlighters. I'm not very colour coordinated, so I just pick whichever colours gelling with me at the time. And I've got loads of lovely sets of pens. So I'll just double highlight it, if you see what I mean. So I'll pick out the really pertinent thing and it might be highlighted and then underlined as well. Another thing I do, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it, but you might be able to see it. I can't. No, it's not working very well. I can't tell. I diffuse. Oh no, I think you can see it. I do actually diffuse oils. So at the moment, because I'm not feeling great and I don't know whether it's just a headache or something, I'm diffusing a protective blend. But I also do have a concentration blend. So I use grapefruit just because it's a great smell. But you can use any of the citrus uplifting oils. They're all really great for uplifting. Rosemary, because I find it really helps me concentrate, so it helps my brain function. There have been a few studies that's shown that it does subtly affect that sort of thing. So that's what I'm diffusing at the moment. Protective blend and rosemary to just help me. I also do write notes, but what I find is because I forget where I've written my notes, I have to be very specific about which book I'm putting them in. So I do actually find that the highlighting and underlining and then just switching focus for me really, really works. That thing of if I'm reading a storybook, to go on to something maybe a bit more factual and maybe something with a few more pictures in or something. So that's why I really like having sort of 3 or 4 books on the go, which some people might find horrendous, but works for me. So I just thought I'd put that out there as somebody who's got dyslexia with short-term memory issues. So pass it on to anybody who you think might benefit from it. If you want to ask any questions, just type stuff below. And just if you want to know anything more about that, just get in touch with me. I'd love to have a chat. Okay, thanks guys, bye.